That's been my whole life. Personal life too. I'm not a threat.
Angie Dickinson has always been a force to be reckoned with in Hollywood. Known for her stunning beauty, fierce independence, and unforgettable roles, she became one of the most iconic actresses of her time. But behind the glitz and glamour, Angie made headlines for her bold choices, turning down Dynasty, walking off her own hit TV show, and not shying away from dating married men. Now, after decades of mystery and rumors, she's finally opening up about her life. From her complicated relationship with Frank Sinatra to the heartbreaking loss of her daughter, Angie has revealed it all. Join us as we take a closer look at Angie Dickinson's incredible journey and uncover the secrets that are no longer hidden from the spotlight. A small-town girl. Angie Dickinson was born in Culm, North Dakota on September 30th, 1931. She was the middle of 3 daughters in the Brown family. Her father, Leo Henry Brown, was a small-town newspaper publisher and editor. He also worked as the projectionist at the town's only movie theater, which sparked Angie's early love for films. Her family was of German descent, and she was raised in the Catholic faith. Angie's childhood was filled with the simple pleasures of small-town life, but little did she know that her love for movies would lead her to stardom. In 1942, when Angie was just 10 years old, her family moved to Burbank, California, a place that would become the heart of Hollywood. There, Angie attended Bellarmine Jefferson High School, graduating at 15. She was bright, winning the 6th annual Bill of Rights essay contest. Angie went on to study at Immaculate Heart College and Glendale Community College. She had originally planned to become a writer just like her father, but destiny had other plans for her. While still in school, Angie worked various jobs, including as a secretary at Lockheed Air Terminal and in a parts factory. It wasn't until 1952, when she married football player Gene Dickinson, that she took the name Angie Dickinson. Her big break came after she came second in a local Miss America contest, which caught the attention of a casting agent. From there, she was given a chance to be a showgirl on The Jimmy Durante Show. This opportunity opened the door to acting, and soon Angie was starring in a variety of television shows, making a name in Hollywood. Angie Dickinson's path to becoming a Hollywood star wasn't an easy one, but she had the talent and determination to succeed. Her first TV appearance was on Death Valley Days in 1954. This led to more roles in shows like Matinee Theater, City Detective, Gunsmoke, and The Virginian. By 1958, she was already being cast in significant roles, including her appearance on The Life and Legend of Wyatt Earp. Her film career began with small roles in movies like Lucky Me, 1954, and Man with the Gun, 1955. She soon became known for her strong performances in crime dramas and westerns. She didn't want to be just another blonde bombshell, so she decided to keep her natural brunette hair color instead of going full platinum blonde like many of her contemporaries. This helped her carve out a niche as a talented actress, not just a pretty face. In 1959, Angie's career took off with a major role in the western Rio Bravo, directed by Howard Hawks. She played a flirtatious gambler named Feathers, who became involved with the town sheriff, played by none other than John Wayne. The film was a huge success and helped Angie establish herself as a Hollywood leading lady. From there, she went on to star in several more films, including Ocean's 11, 1960, and The Sins of Rachel Cade, 1961. She also took on roles in political thrillers like A Fever in the Blood, 1961, and in dramatic films like Jessica, 1962, The Sex Symbol, and Hollywood Bad Girl. Angie Dickinson wasn't just known for her acting skills, she also became a sex symbol of her time. In the 1960s, she was featured on the cover of Esquire magazine, posing in nothing but a sweater and pantyhose. The image became iconic and cemented her place in Hollywood history. This image would later be recreated by Britney Spears in 2003 for the magazine's anniversary. But Angie wasn't just a pretty face. She was also tough, independent, and willing to take risks. Despite her popularity, Angie's career was full of controversy. She had a reputation for being a bit of a Hollywood bad girl. She openly dated married men, which caused a stir in the media. Her marriage to Gene Dickinson ended in divorce, and Angie went on to have relationships with some of the biggest stars of the time. One of her most famous relationships was with Frank Sinatra, with whom she had a long-lasting friendship. She was also rumored to have had a brief but unforgettable encounter with President John F. Kennedy, something she later described as the most exciting 7 minutes of her life. But her career wasn't all about glamour and romance. In the early 1970s, Angie's career took a turn when she starred in a darker role in Pretty Maids All in a Row, 1971, playing a seductive teacher in a school full of murder. The film wasn't a commercial success, but it gained a cult following over the years. Angie continued to star in films and TV roles, cementing her reputation as one of Hollywood's most fearless and fascinating stars. Policewoman and a New Chapter. In 1974, Angie Dickinson's career took a major shift when she starred in the groundbreaking television series Policewoman. The show was a big deal at the time because it featured a woman in a leading tough role as a police officer. Angie played Sergeant Pepper Anderson, an officer in the Los Angeles Police Department's Criminal Conspiracy Unit. The show was a huge hit and made Angie a household name. Despite her success, Angie later admitted that she regretted doing the show. In a 2019 interview, she revealed that the pay wasn't great and the role took up a lot of her time, leaving her little room for other projects. Still, she acknowledged that Policewoman had a lasting impact, especially in encouraging women to join the police force. The show also paved the way for other female-led crime series like Charlie's Angels and Cagney and Lacey. Angie's role as Pepper Anderson was iconic, and she became an influential figure in television. In fact, she won a Golden Globe Award for Best Actress in a TV drama and was nominated for 3 consecutive Emmy Awards for her performance. In 1987, the Los Angeles Police Department even awarded her an honorary doctorate, leading her to joke, "Now you can call me Dr. Pepper." Angie's career wasn't just about acting. She had become a role model for women everywhere. Despite facing many challenges and disappointments along the way, Angie Dickinson remained a force to be reckoned with in Hollywood. A Hollywood comeback and personal choices. After achieving massive success in the 1970s, Angie Dickinson faced a shift in her career in the early 1980s. While she had been a TV star in Policewoman and made a name for herself with daring roles, the big screen seemed to be moving away from her. But Angie wasn't ready to fade into the background just yet. In 1980, she made a memorable return with the erotic thriller Dressed to Kill, directed by Brian De Palma. In this film, she played Kate Miller, a sexually frustrated New York housewife. Her performance in a silent scene at a museum grabbed a lot of attention and earned her a Saturn Award for Best Actress in 1981. Critics praised her acting, with the New York Times calling her excellent in the role. Despite this success, Angie turned down some major opportunities. In the early 1980s, she was offered the role of Crystal Carrington on the hit TV series Dynasty. However, Angie chose to focus on her personal life instead, wanting to spend more time with her daughter. The role ultimately went to Linda Evans, but Angie's decision showed her willingness to prioritize family over fame. Later on, she passed on a sitcom opportunity, The Angie Dickinson Show, after only 2 episodes. She didn't feel comfortable in the role, and this led her to step away from television for a while. By the mid-1980s, Angie made a few more television appearances but struggled to find her place. She starred in TV movies like One Shoe Makes It Murder, 1982, and A Touch of Scandal, 1984, but none of these really took off. Despite these challenges, she had a big role in the miniseries Hollywood Wives, 1985, which became very popular. The show helped remind audiences of Angie's acting talent, even though she wasn't the center of the spotlight anymore. Shifting roles and new ventures. In the 1990s, Angie Dickinson embraced new roles that showed her versatility as an actress. She took on darker, more complex characters, such as the sadistic sister in Wild Palms, 1993, and a ruthless spa owner in Even Cowgirls Get the Blues, 1993. Although she was getting older, Angie continued to take on challenging roles. In 1995, she played the prospective mother-in-law of Greg Kinnear in the romantic comedy Sabrina, which starred Harrison Ford. The following year, she acted in The Maddening, a thriller, and The Don's Analyst, a comedy. These roles showed that she was still in demand. As the 2000s rolled around, Angie kept finding interesting parts. She played the alcoholic mother in Pay It Forward, 2000, and the grandmother in Duets, 2000, starring Gwyneth Paltrow. These roles proved that Angie could bring depth to a variety of characters, from comedy to drama. In 2001, she even made a brief cameo in the remake of Ocean's 11, alongside big stars like George Clooney and Brad Pitt. She had shared the screen with Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin in the original, so her appearance in the remake felt like a nice full circle in her career. In 2004, Angie competed in Celebrity Poker Showdown and appeared in the comedy Elvis Has Left the Building. It was clear that Angie's talents weren't just limited to acting. By this time, she had become a recognizable name in Hollywood, not just for her acting skills, but also for her boldness and refusal to be typecast. Throughout her career, Angie Dickinson proved she could adapt to different roles, from a strong leading lady to a complex character. Even as her acting slowed down in the 2000s, Angie remained a figure of influence, both on and off the screen. But what about her personal life? Angie Dickinson's complex love life and heartbreaks. Angie Dickinson's personal life was filled with love, loss, and complex relationships, making her as famous for her romances as she was for her acting career. She was married to Gene Dickinson, a college football player from 1952 to 1960. They separated in 1956, though they didn't officially divorce until later. During their marriage, Angie became close friends with John Kenneth Galbraith, a prominent economist. She even traveled with him and his wife while he served as the U.S. ambassador to India. This was a time of personal growth for Angie, as she began to experience life beyond Hollywood's glamorous world. After her first marriage, Angie married composer Burt Bacharach in 1965. Their relationship was intense but rocky, lasting 16 years. Together, they had a daughter named Nikki in 1966, but their daughter's life was marked by tragedy. Nikki, who was autistic, died by suicide in 2007, a heartbreak that Angie carried with her for the rest of her life. Their marriage had its ups and downs, and at one point they were separated and even dated other people. Eventually, Angie and Burt went their separate ways, though she kept his name after their divorce. Affairs and relationships with Hollywood legends. Angie Dickinson was always surrounded by famous names, and her love life often made headlines. One of her most talked-about relationships was with legendary singer and actor Frank Sinatra. Their relationship began on the set of Ocean's 11 in 1960, where they shared undeniable chemistry. Although they didn't marry, their bond was special. Angie later described Sinatra as one of the most charismatic men she had ever met, calling him the killer type, handsome, charming, and the kind of man your mother hoped you wouldn't marry. Their relationship lasted for years and was one of the most famous of the era. However, it was never smooth sailing. At one point, Sinatra proposed to Angie, but she turned him down. Angie admitted that she didn't want to marry Sinatra because she didn't want to say no to him. She also wasn't ready to join his late-night lifestyle, which conflicted with her own values. She described Sinatra as the love of her life, but she knew that they were not meant to be together forever. Despite their ups and downs, their bond remained strong for years, and Angie spoke fondly of him until the end of her life. While Angie's relationship with Sinatra was one of the most publicized, she also had other romances that drew attention. In the 1980s, she was romantically involved with musician Billy Vera, and even appeared in his music video for I Can Take Care of Myself. In the 1990s, she dated famous television interviewer Larry King for several years. However, none of these relationships matched the intensity of her connection with Sinatra. a life marked by politics and personal reflections. Angie Dickinson was not only known for her beauty and acting talent, but also for her strong opinions. She was politically active and supported several Democratic candidates during her lifetime. In 1960, she campaigned for John F. Kennedy during his presidential race and continued her political involvement by supporting Lyndon B. Johnson in 1964. Angie's political views were clear, and she didn't shy away from expressing them. In interviews, Angie revealed many personal reflections about her life, her choices, and the people she had loved. She once described JFK as the sexiest politician she had ever met, and spoke about their alleged affair in detail. Although she denied the affair at times, she also admitted that their connection was one of the most exciting moments of her life. She called him the killer type, describing his charm and handsomeness as qualities that made him irresistible. Their time together, she said, was a long-running affair that ended when JFK focused on his political career over their relationship. While Angie's love life was complicated, she was also known for her deep sense of loyalty to the people she loved. In 2023, she revealed the 20-year on-and-off affair she had with Frank Sinatra, once again calling him the love of her life. But despite her strong emotions, Angie remained private about many aspects of her personal life. She stated that she would only share certain things with her confessor, keeping some secrets close to her heart. Speaking of which, Angie Dickinson's life was full of highs and lows, but nothing hit her harder than the loss of her daughter, Leah Nikki Bacharach. Angie Dickinson's heartbreaking loss. Nikki, born to Angie and her second husband, composer Burt Bacharach, had a tough life from the start. She was born prematurely, which led to poor eyesight and other developmental challenges. Despite this, Nikki was a talented young woman who had a love for music, especially drums. However, she struggled in many areas of life, including her time at the Constance Bultmann Wilson Center, where her parents hoped she would receive help. At the center, Nikki faced difficulties that only made her condition worse. Angie wrote about how the center tried to force Nikki to fit into a mold she simply couldn't conform to. They pushed her to learn how to drive despite her challenges, and even tried to make her feel as though she had to hold down a job. This pressure caused Nikki to act out, including crashing 2 cars during her attempts to learn how to drive. At one point, she even cut off her hair because the center limited her shower time. Angie's heartbreak deepened when she realized how much her daughter was suffering in an environment that didn't understand her needs. Despite these struggles, Nikki found some peace when she went to Cal Lutheran University in 1992. She enrolled in geology but could only manage to take 1 class per semester due to her eyesight. While Nikki showed promise in many areas, she was increasingly sensitive to loud noises, which seemed to drive her further into isolation. As the American Psychiatric Association added Asperger's syndrome to its diagnostic manual in 1994, Angie began to understand her daughter's condition better. She had never heard of Asperger's before, but once she read about it, things started to make sense. However, knowing the cause of Nikki's struggles didn't make things easier. Nikki still couldn't cope, and her mental health continued to deteriorate. Angie Dickinson's life at 93. Angie Dickinson has experienced unimaginable loss in her life, especially the death of her daughter Nikki in 2007. But despite the deep pain, Angie continues to live a full life, even at 93. Her strength and resilience shine through as she recalls her long career and personal struggles. She often speaks about Nikki with deep affection, calling her soulmate and honoring her memory every day. Angie reflects on Nikki's life, sharing how much Nikki loved simple things like cats, earthquakes, meteor showers, and beautiful sunsets. She remembers her daughter as one of the most beautiful creatures created on this earth, now at peace. In a recent interview, Angie revealed some of her secrets to staying healthy and active. She stays strong by maintaining a clean diet, mostly vegetarian, with the occasional treat of country fried chicken. She also makes sure to get enough sleep, about 8 hours every night. Angie stays physically active by doing her own gardening, which keeps her busy and connected to the world around her. She also stays out of trouble, joking that this helps her maintain her health. Even at 93, Angie remains sharp, offering simple yet profound life lessons that she's learned over the years. One lesson Angie shares is the importance of never missing a sunset when possible. She believes in being kind, even when it's hard, and knows when to stop talking after she's said enough. These simple yet powerful lessons reflect her resilience and ability to find joy in the small moments, despite the hardships she's faced. Throughout her life, Angie Dickinson navigated the complicated worlds of Hollywood, love, and politics. While she made history in her career, her personal story was equally rich with passion, loss, and reflection. How do you think Angie's relationships with famous figures like Frank Sinatra and Burt Bacharach impacted her career and personal life? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more such stories.